The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
Another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host for another day of the Power Trading Hour. Pretty close to our lows, off 13.5 points on the S&P cash, with a volume of 2.3 billion shares to start the show. That's basically telling us that we've got some people that are finally starting to get worried. They still are kind of avoiding what has happened in the past. In fact, I've got a model for the VIX and what it should be doing. We should be pressing about 17.5 on the VIX right now. If you look at past pullbacks in the market, we're just a little under 16. That tells us, of course, the VIX, for people that are brand new to the show, is the basically an oscillator of the out of money puts and calls, just the premiums, not in the monies, just out of the money. And so you're basically looking at pure premium for both bullish and bearish bets. And, you know, we're up pretty decently, up 10% on the day, but nowhere probably where we should be historically. That tells me that people are still not thinking that they could short this market, that people are not buying any kind of puts in any kind of volume. And that tells me that we still probably have somewhere to go. I would look for a spike through 18 has been when we have found lows in at least the short-term pullbacks before. I suspect this may be a much bigger pullback that harkens to 2011 in the April, into April, 1st of May. You'll see a couple of double top back in that segment, and that really showed the first taper tantrum. I suspect we're in for something similar. We do have some stocks, or at least some indexes, not as weak as others. In fact, the IWM, it's only off 0.1% today. Of course, it got cremated days before. We do have other stocks that are off, especially stocks that had found a lot of institutional support and massive upgrades over the last few days at turning around. I'm short one of those. We had to kind of wait through earnings, and then earnings weren't all that good. And then a lot of self-serving upgrades from jackasses that just wanted to see if they could shake me and my subscribers out. It did not. That one's coming back intact. But we digress. When we look at probably the most interesting stock out here today to me, is Apple. This is down on 52 million shares already. It had a nice little flip back up to about $130.50. And to me, that was the cue to go ahead and pull the string on the NASDAQ short in both newsletters, one in technology and another one in actually the Qs, to pull the trigger on them. And that was just about perfect. Apple continues to be extremely weak for a company that can buy back 200 million of its own shares. I suspect that what we're going to find out fairly soon there's two things weighing against Apple. And it gets bigger each day, and that is the amount of people contacting the Department of Justice and ratting out Apple for them trying to club Spotify and a few other streaming music services so that they can get deals with those same folks. So I'm thinking we've got another, Breaking Bad, Apple Breaking Bad, and I think why it's just a murmur now. We're probably going to hear a great deal more about this next week. If anybody has been reading my Tech Insider for the last 2 years, I said what a horrible business music streaming is. Apple, I think, thought that they could just go in and unilaterally decimate the streaming music services and then start charging up for it, and that everybody would just jump in line. I think that they really missed the fact how many musicians and artists truly hate them. It wasn't a great business, and your basically your music label and your probably your manager tried to steal as much money from you as you could, but you could get rid of those guys and you could go somewhere else. Apple, with its iTunes, basically decimated the business. In fact, the recording music business is making about 15% of the money that it made before Apple came along. There is no love. And the whole idea of buying Beats for whatever it was, $3.5 billion, seemed to me rather nutty. But this is not the first time someone's gone after a horrible business model. I don't have a lot of love for Mr. Buffett from Omaha. He's fairly self-serving. He does have a lot of nice quotable stuff that he brings out. And I think one of his best quotes out there, until recently, has been, you know how to make how to get $1 billion? That's buy an airline stock for $2 billion. And it's one of those things, one of those horrible businesses that just never seems to get any better. In fact, I almost did it yesterday. There was a interview on CNBC. It may still be on CNBC. I'll have to check, because it actually was thinking about writing an article about it. But trying to remember the guy he's so white he's almost translucent. I think he's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins. He's a guy with no hair, otherwise known as bald. But he has, I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. Anyway, he was on CNBC yesterday talking about the music industry. Basically said it is the wild, wild west in music. And he had a lot of comments for various people that all had their hands out saying that they were there to save the music industry, and had kind of a different view of musicians as brand names in the near future. Was kind of ticked off that he sold a ton of iPods and iPhones for Apple for people using his music, but he never got a taste, never got his beak wet. And I'm trying to remember that guy's name. I'll look it up here. I'll remember it. Smashing Pumpkins, isn't it? Pumpkins? Smashing, yes, I did mean Smashing Pumpkins. Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somebody else. Kind of remind. I'm looking at the band name here. It had to be somebody else then. I'll have to go find it now. Maybe I'll find it during the break. Anyway, he had more intelligent stuff to say during the break than anybody else. Billy Corrigan, thank you. Keep 23 in the Den. And yeah, I was going to go back and re-listen to it. I fast-forwarded through it and just read the closed caption on it. And I thought, boy, this guy has at least a idea how maybe this thing can eventually one day turn a profit. Corrigan. Well, now I know what to. Yeah, that's him. Thanks. I got a little picture of him here. We'll move to a new window. Okay, there we go. And we'll pull up his Wikipedia page there. Billy Corrigan. Anyway, I'll find that again. Maybe I'll get some clips from it and play them on tomorrow's show. But he actually did a pretty good job. Yeah, he was Smashing Pumpkins. I wonder why that doesn't show up on the other Smashing Pumpkins Wikipedia page. I bet he ticked somebody off. Anyway, I do digress. Of course, we've got a market down here, and it's playing around. It's within a point of its low now in the S&P cash, 2.35 billion shares. Got a lot of volume in the NASDAQ too, and of course, it's off a bit off 40 points. We've got the Dow off 140 points. I don't see a lot of people stepping in. We had one kind of move from about 2080 on the S&P cash up to 2088, and that lasted all of about 15 minutes. Now, some people are blaming Janet Yellen, and I'll play what she said a little bit later, but I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think the market was headed down either way, and it would have just, I don't think that they enjoyed it. I think that there were a few people out here that were trying to sell into this earlier in the morning before the bottom fell out. And, of course, very tough to sell into a market already going down, because any real selling you do, if you're a big whale out here, is just going to I can't even say it, evaporate what you're doing already. In the meantime, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I better get busy here.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day, Emilio Peter Gianni is born in San Francisco, California in 1870. In San Francisco in 1904, he founds the Bank of Italy to serve the city's burgeoning working class. It later finances the Golden Gate Bridge in the depths of the Depression and lends David Selnick the money he needs to finish the film Gone with the Wind. Today, as Bank of America, it's one of the world's biggest financial services firms and the ongoing criminal conspiracy of banks and broker-dealers. It's got just a big kind of mob mentality with whatever you find, this is going to be a lot less than you ever find. So I'm kind of warming up to Tom O'Brien's jaundiced view of the banking sector out here as nothing but criminals who pay big speeding tickets, but nothing that ever is in the league of them getting a DWI and being benched or actually going to jail. But I do digress. After the bell tonight, we've got a lot of them. And I thought I left out one of the biggest ones out here, which is, I think I did, which is, of course, Tesla. Is that? No, it's out of my list here. Activision, Albarmi, ALB. Somebody asked me about that a few days ago. Annaly Capital, Apollo Residential Mortgage, C-Trip, which I think is going to be very interesting to see how that does as the Chinese going to start kind of the China syndrome out here with those stocks. FANG, Diamondback Energy, Easy Corp makes a lot of networking chips. Keurig, Green Mountain, see if they face turns green or something else. GMCR. Learning Tree, which is going to be interesting, LTRE. One of the ones that probably, we'll look at the chart pattern out here, that I think is going to be very interesting after the bell, and that's going to be Mercado Libre, MELI. We've got Molycorp, Sequin-M, St. Joe, Sunoco, Transocean, Vandia Pharmaceuticals, and Whole Foods. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're off just a hair under 15 points on the S&P cash as we're down here testing the lows of the day. What else do we have going on out here that I wanted to bring up? I was thinking about it during the break. If you want to watch that video of Billy Corgan about streaming music, I found the link during the break, and you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can call me at 877-927-6648, and you can post a message in the den also. But I do digress. Anyway, Janet Yellen was out this morning, and there was about a 10-minute pause between where she said something that the market, some people think it reacted to, some people don't. Kind of hard to tell whether it just was coherent in what happened, but she had this to say.
We've also seen a compression in spreads on high-yield debt, which certainly looks like a reach for yield type of behavior. I guess I would highlight that equity market valuations at this point generally are quite high. Now, they're not so high when you compare the returns on equities to the returns on safe assets like bonds, which are also very low, but there are potential dangers there.
And I guess that's kind of like comparing a psychopath with a sociopath. You know, they're both nuts. The question is just how nuts. And well, you know, at least those equities, they're they're not out there in a killing spree. They haven't killed 13 hookers down there by the Green River. I think, but that's kind of the way I took it. So I don't know. Just seemed to me the market tended to react, but I thought it was going to react anyway. Of course, this is options expiration, the start of it, with options going delta neutral today. A lot of times this is the low of expiration cycle. About once or twice a year, it is not. When it is not, it is normally a wicked bad time to be long in the market. I suspect we are in one of those. But probably by the time I get off the show here, if we still don't see any ability for this market to rally, I suspect that we will continue to see weakness for the weeks to come. I'm not a bull here by any stretch of the imagination. And Mrs. Yellen, I don't know how she likes to be called. What else can you say? Uber has been kicked out of Kansas. Company says a bill pushed through the state legislature makes it impossible for the company to operate there. And what did they want? They wanted background checks. And I don't know how much they were going to cost and what happened. The governor vetoed it. They overrode him on the deal. I'm not exactly sure. My guess is there's some politics back in there because some of the people from Uber were less than kind about talking about the people in the Midwest and maybe the people in Kansas on some political issues just a few weeks ago. I always thought there would be some repercussions, and that may be basically a slap at people like Uber, who are probably not just happy with their opinions, but going to try to maybe cause problems for those that have differing opinions. And basically tech in San Francisco has been on that edge where they may jump the shark on what they ask others to do around the country. The measure requires drivers for ride-hailing companies to undergo background checks through the Kansas Bureau of Investigation and hold additional auto insurance company coverage for the period in which they have turned on the mobile app that connects them to riders. Now, in Florida, Uber and the rest of them have to do basically the same thing. There's no background check, but you have to have, I think, a couple $1 million in coverage in case you kill somebody while you're hauling them around. Unclear if that's going to really affect Florida. I didn't hear too many of the Uber people talking about it. Maybe half these people are all serial killers or something, and they don't like the background check, but kind of tough to figure out whether it was the expense of it or just having one at all that Uber disliked. When reached for a comment, I think they had somebody in the financial investor relations person answer the phone, and he said, yeah, I forget the guy's first name. His last name was Toto, and he said, yes, we're not in Kansas anymore. Bada bing, bada bam. See what I did there? Anyway, when we come back, we're going to say Lenovo is back with their with their devices that kind of smack of China involvement for all their laptops. They're back again now with problems with malicious software being able to run from commands from afar. Yet another chapter in the same kind of album.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they just recently unveiled the new 5-year market-safe future economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until May 7th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all the upside. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you still get back 100% of your deposited principal. Intrigued yet? The May 7th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, looks like we're toying around these lows and have broken them. And we go to our correspondent, Tom Hanks.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
I think we got a problem right here in River City. And that begins with P and ends with L. Has 2 O's between it. 2.45 billion shares. So it had a little volume as we kick through that low. We'll keep an eye on it. Anyway, we're talking about Lenovo PCs. Be very careful if you're using one, especially for trading, as they are, continue to come with huge amounts of malicious software patches that don't exist on other PCs. And I don't think there's anything new on this. Of course, IBM sold its PC division to the Lenovo. Comcast said today it's going to create 5,500 customer service jobs as a part of a multi-year customer experience transformation, a plan to make you like Comcast, or at least tolerate it. Of course, of the large companies, every single year, Comcast and Time Warner come in as the most hated companies, and there's a reason. They deserved it. Maybe not as criminal as the banking conspiracy, but certainly evil in their own way in torturing their customers. And what else can you say about that? Xiaomi is got its Mi Notebook or Note Pro coming out in a couple of days. I think this is going to put a lot of strain on what Apple thinks that they are going to do over in China. This is a Snapdragon 810 powered phone with a massive 5.7-inch 2560 by 1440 LCD screen of the most beautiful kind. It also comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. It's going to be about $300 less than the Samsung and Apple devices. It's got two SD slots, micro SD slots, and two basically slots for multiple phone numbers. So a lot of people, I think, especially over there that travel around to different areas, may really like this phone. And just being able to come with that 2 extra SIM slots, so you can use different carriers when you go here and there. It may be, especially for the powerful and elite of Asia, a great phone. I suspect that they will be here by fall. And so far, they've done a wicked good job at taking market share away from Samsung. And as much as Apple is telling us how well they're doing over there, if you are selling nothing and you sell one, it's a 100% increase. I'm not buying that Apple is selling that many over there, but they really haven't given numbers. They kind of allude to the fact of how big it is. But again, if you start from nothing, you're probably, or almost nothing, you're probably going to do pretty well. And I think that was Apple. Also, from Taiwan, we find out that the supply chain is telling us just how many iPads they think that Apple will be selling. Right now, it's down 20%, and the rumor is that Apple is going to get yet another cut. We could, or Apple could be selling less than 3/4 of the amount of units by the end of the year, just on the current trajectory. And a lot of times that's linearly. If it's actually logarithmic, we could see this down at 35 or 40% before the end of the year. I was really worried that maybe we would have kind of a little bounce out here today. I want to thank Peter Schiff from Euro Pacific Capital for coming out with the bonehead statement of the day. We're not going to get a rate hike in June. We're not going to get a rate hike in September, he said during a panel moderated by Steve Forbes this morning. We're going to get QE4. And I think that ship has sailed. But wishful thinking is not new on Wall Street. But I'm going to keep this and maybe break it out in 3 or 4 years. A lot of people are wishful thinkers. And they don't like to be told the party's over out here. CMG, Chipotle is having a lot of problems with their promise to go GMO-free. The National Academy of Sciences, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and the European Commission all agree that GMO foods are safe. You may not believe it, but the question I have is, how can you believe everything that scientists say about global warming and then throw away everything that they have out here about what they say about GMOs? A conundrum, if there ever was one. Someone can explain that to me, let me know. But I see a ton of people that are all pro-global warming and anti-GMO. And I've got to probably find out how you resolve those two things, because you got scientists telling you one thing you want to believe and another thing you don't want to believe, at least as far as I can tell. They are finding some kickbacks, and the fact that they sell Coke that has the corn syrup in it for sugar that's been genetically modified is problematic for them. They may not be able to sell Coke depending on how close the interpretation of not selling GMO foods are. Of course, we got kind of started off here. The market looked the other way. Said in my newsletter that they were whistling past the graveyard this morning when the jobs numbers came out. We talked last month about how we now know the ADP numbers are correct, and the government is lying out their wazoo every time they bring up jobs numbers. I don't think it's going to matter now on Friday whatsoever. We've got some good numbers. They've been good numbers for the last 2 years from ADP. They've been accurate. After all the revisions that the government puts out, we find out that the ADP numbers were actually correct. And of course, since they do payroll, why shouldn't they be correct? The report, which is derived from ADP's actual payroll data, measures the change in total farm private employment each month on a seasonally adjusted basis. But it was weak tonight or this morning at 169. The market did not react at all. And that's up or down. I think they were a little confused out here because I think everybody now knows the man behind the curtain is the government man, and he does not always tell the truth. He only comes back 3 months later and makes the revisions to everybody wants to hear, or doesn't want to hear, but has to hear, or their numbers would ever work. But I do digress. Anyway, we're going to get into some charts here. If you're in the den, you can certainly think about it. Anyway, we've got a lot of stocks to look at out here. For winners, we've got out here, hopefully this will come up in a second. My internet has been slow today. Cray, one of the premier supercomputer manufacturers, had a nice day out here, popped to $31.88. We've got a huge short squeeze on Herbalife going out here. Now, they can monkey with the numbers, talking about monkeying with the numbers. Very tough to see how this company goes bankrupt or goes anywhere higher with the two titans of Wall Street chasing each other and bashing each over the head with it. At least it's not a shouting match on CNBC anymore. Herbalife had a nice pop to $48.89. But again, 50% short interest in this. Generally, in the short term, high short interest stocks do not prevail. The shorts don't prevail. But over the long term, pretty good batting average that tell you that there is something wrong with that. Of course, any kind of mention from the government that's actually a Ponzi scheme, and they could be out of business tomorrow. So probably a huge risk out there that people are betting on. Walker and Dunlop, never knew this company before they popped here today. But guess what? These guys make a ton of money on loans. And I guess the idea is their guidance going forward is saying that WD, they should be WD-40, shouldn't they? WD, Walker and Dunlop, who make all this stuff, certainly think that they're going to make a ton of money going forward. Maybe selling points again, all the other stuff that used to happen in the 2000s in loans, but they think that they're going to make a lot of cash going forward as rates go up. And of course, today we've got a solid 2.2 on the yield factor for the 10-year, and that's got everybody spooked. Zag, the company that makes a lot of apparel wear for your iPhone, had a nice pop out here this morning, could not keep it. Huge volume, huge intraday move out here, but was higher earlier today. Zendesk, another one that popped out here higher. Pretty interesting company. You may want to find out more about it. My guess is this thing's headed back to 18, even though it popped today, it could not hold it, which is kind of the theme of stocks. We also have Auto Home. This one tried to pop this morning, but came back down. DDD, there seems to be no end to the amount of selling that we're going to find in these 3D stocks. I put out kind of a special report maybe 4 or 6 weeks ago to my Tech Insider subscribers. I looked for a small run, which we did get into last month's pop into options expiration, which we got, and then the whole thing fell apart. I actually was long at about $27 and got out of it because I hated the way that the thing was acting. It should have done 10 times better, and it just could not get it out of its own way. Got to 32.88 and has been doing nothing but going down since then. Again, today, down on light volume. This thing's probably going to need 6 months or a year to consolidate out the destruction from 96.70, which, by the way, I put a huge sell sign on all the 3D printer companies in the Tech Insider on it. Endeavor Silver, I don't know what's going on. I got out of basically a short on Brazil today just because these commodities are acting so nutty. I think it wasn't like a loss. I just didn't want to be in it because if you don't know what's going on, you just, when in doubt, get out. so I got out of it. It actually recovered most of the day, but I still hate stocks where I can't figure out what they're doing. That was one of them, and I think it actually popped fairly nicely today. Endeavor Silver, some of these things are just, you got the dollar index down. What was it printing out here last we looked? Off $1.10, and you can't get some of these gold companies going, and or gold itself. Gold's off 350. Man, these commodities are probably driving commodity traders nuts, and you'd probably know that Andy Heck would be gone this week, wouldn't you? Maybe he has some idea why these things are acting bipolar. Fossil Group, good earnings when they came out last night. Horrible outlook going forward. I was thinking that since the eyewash wasn't a big deal, that this would be a bigger, maybe a pop that it was oversold at here. Not so today. This thing has blown through the previous lows, although it's trying to hold these previous lows where it had 13 million shares, just under $80 on February 18th. It went to 76.40 today. It's trying to come back to those levels. Volume is only about half so far today, that blowout low from February 18th. But, that thing, it's hard for me to see watches at all being a big deal, whether it's Apple's watch or swatches in the near future. Groupon, this thing is finally coming back down and filling its gap. Not a bad-looking chart out here. If you didn't know, this is one of my Walking Dead stocks that's always out here, always thinking about possibly going. Okay, just checking on my email here. Groupon's back to the gap up. Caught a bunch of people napping in short on the 31st of October. This thing popped up, did a triple top out here, finally on very light volume, back on the high of February 26. Been going down, of course, decent volume today, but not close to this. This thing is one of these 40 or 50% short interest stocks. It is going out of business. It's like BlackBerry. It's like the rest of these stocks. It's just how long these things can hang on, kind of like a loose tooth. Your kid won't let you put the string on and pull it out. It just has to fall out, and these things can take a long time. But Groupon on my list of Walking Dead stocks. Plains Celestial. This one had some bad news today on earnings. Basically opening up, this basically got back to the huge sign of strength today of the 4th of February, where this thing came up on 3.2 million shares. We've got about that and into it today. I suspect that we're going to go all the way back down from the reaction to earnings out here. That takes you back down to $51.95, the January 20th low. The end of the world? Probably not, but I guess it's not going to be the fastest one down there, but certainly it is going down there. Infinity Pharmaceuticals came in here and tested its low today, and a gap up that was its sign of strength that goes back to September 3rd of last year on almost 18 million shares, down here with about 1 million shares so far today. So a lot of these stocks that have been beat up rather lately are finding some stocks. Lamar Advertising, I don't know why this one's in here. Mylan Myra Genetics, MYGN. Has been bouncing around its lows out here today. Pretty light volume against the low of February 4th. 5.3 million shares. Hasn't broken that low. Came within 14 cents today. So keep an eye on that one. We will be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Post a message in the den or email me at path@tfnn.com.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Do you know the 7 most critical factors that influence every decision you make, and how not knowing these will jeopardize the health, the wealth, and the relationships you deserve? I'm Steve Rhodes, morning host at TFNN.com, and for the last quarter of a century, I've studied and used the secrets of human growth, the same formulas used by leaders of nations, billionaires and millionaires, and the most successful athletes on the planet. Would you like to break through any obstacle that gets in between you and the success you deserve? Would you like to turn fear into strength? If you could find a way to achieve, be fulfilled, and live a life of meaning, wouldn't you want to know the answer? I'll teach you the factors that control your state of mind and the drivers that impact every thought, emotion, behavior, and action we take in my new webinar, The Psychology of Trading. Join me for this 2-part online event where I'll unveil the secrets to human pattern recognition, because they're not what you think. And soon, you'll have the health, the wealth, and the relationships you deserve. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on The Psychology of Trading to begin your journey now.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, we're going through stocks that we've got another ton of stocks tonight, not all of them big names. Tesla is probably the most interesting. Well, I probably get to that before the end of the show here today. Myrid Genetics, actually not looking too bad. Some of these may have made some short-term lows out here. Noodles and Companies, this thing down with significant volumes blown out all its lows. Of course, it's a recent IPO, and there were a ton of these things that were what I call stinky IPOs that probably never should have made it out the door. But in the furor, there are a lot of these things that Wall Street was kicking out that weren't worth the paper that they were printed on. What else do we have out here that was interesting? We were talking about Skull. I talked about it yesterday and said that, its long-term problem was that they're basically in a commodity business going up against people like Beats that are really selling horrible phones too. But the question has to be, you know, how easy are the people that buy Beats headphones who know nothing about headphones and are buying horrible headphones know about headphones? And the answer is that some big rapper wears them, so I'll buy them. They are pretty unilaterally horrible. Dynamic or Stenhauser or a bunch of other headphones are 10 times better than any of those that people are selling out there. SodaStream International may be making a low. It's got just a little bit lower, about another 60 cents out here to its low, 1.1 million shares. Keep an eye on that. It may be one of the few out here that looks like it's coming in for a soft landing. Strayer Education, they had earnings out today. A lot of volume. This thing's going to blow through. All these for-profit educations are all going probably on my, going to be soon on my list of walking dead stocks. Stillwater Mining, this one had a nice pop-up out here today on earnings. Some decent volume, but looks to me like a lot of these are just getting in these same asymmetrical triangle patterns we talked about on Apple for so much over the last couple of weeks. Vitamin Shop, this thing is a bouncy little sucker. Down today on fairly significant volume. The next previous high volume low is $36.90 with just 60 cents above that from where it pierced this morning. My guess is it's going to work slowly down there. One of the disaster du jours is Zulily. ZU is the symbol on this, down on massive volume. It's blown apart and going to be blown apart for a while out here. I don't think there's anything new to that happening anytime soon. Let's go back and look a little bit longer in this thing. See if there's anything out here. No, from the IPO days, this thing is a dog, another one of these things that came out with lofty values, and that was it. Do I have time? Yeah. Tesla. Going to be very interesting to see Tesla's results. I would short this thing, except the super high short interest and the fact that these guys can monkey with the books maybe for a few more quarters. Of course, this is going to be, and their books are going to look horrible in the very near future. They are building and spending huge amounts of cash that they hadn't been spending before. They bought an old abandoned factory to build their cars in, and they've been buying batteries from other folks. Pretty soon, they're going to have a very, very lot of cash out. And my guess is that unless they vastly improve the chemistry of batteries in the near future, this thing is going to be, and has the possibility to be, the next Etzel and Pets.com. The problem is you just don't know when these guys are going to fess up to the underlying books. At least that's my opinion on it. It's going to be problematic to spend $6 billion to sell 50,000 cars a year. Even if they did, it would take 10 years to get to the level where it's valued today. Be careful on it. See you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Sell when you can, not when you have to.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.